What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape Podcast, episode 2 with Mikel and
Tanyka,
where we have conversations on different topics. So, what are we talking about today, Tanyka?
well, I guess all the topics that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about 50 Cent and his final lap tour.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Disney potentially cracking down on password sharing, friends and family pressuring to find love, and NSYNC. Are they coming back with a new song? We're going to be talking about that too.
Yeah. So, which one are you going to pick first? Or are we going to pick?
Let's just start in order.
So, here's what we're going to talk about today, guys. We're going to talk about the 50 Cent final lap tour. So, 50 Cent final lap tour have been nothing but, I've been hearing nothing but great things about the concerts, playing a lot of his favorite hits such as In the Club, Many Men, Just a Little Bit, to I Get Money, and more. I even went to one of the concerts in Toronto last month.
Oh, you did?
I did. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I wasn't way at the back.
Well, I mean,
so yeah, you couldn't see anything at all. So
yeah,
crazy. So do you have a favorite song from 50 Cent, Tanyka?
Oh man, you know you're trapping me right now. I mean, I guess really and truly, if I had to pick one, it probably would be In the Club. That's kind of my earliest memory of a 50 Cent song would have been that one. But
that's everybody's favorite, though.
Yeah, but like I said, Mikel's trapping me right now because I don't care. Like, I don't like 50 Cent very much.
Aww.
So, you know what you're doing.
Come on. Don't hate on 50 Cent like that. But anyways, my favorite song is Hustler Ambition. Of course, there's a lot more, but if I had to pick one, that's that one song right there. So very, very, very dope song.
I mean, I also like Candy Shop.
Oh, Candy Shop.
But
that's different.
That is different.
Not a lot of people like Candy Shop.
Are you serious? That was a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then you're all wrong.
I mean, I heard a lot of bad things that people said that was his worst hit off his second album. So.
Well, you're all wrong, then, if that's how you feel.
Yeah. So, in other news with 50 Cent, 50 Cent recently posted something on his Instagram that caught a lot of people's attention. So, he quoted on his Instagram post, "I like this. I want a painting like this in black and white. Chris Brown is really the best shit we got out here, but nobody will say it. So I gotta say it." So basically, 50 Cent posted a picture of Michael Jackson handing a crown to Chris Brown. So basically, what is he saying? Is he is to this generation Michael Jackson. So do you agree with that?
Can you tell by my reaction right now that I don't agree with that? Okay, here's my thing. Maybe, and this is not to put a hit on Chris Brown when it comes to his art and only his art. That's the only thing we're talking about. Here is Chris Brown is great. I was a fan of him in the early stages of his career, but he's not at the level of Michael Jackson. Very few people are at that level. I am an MJ fan, so this is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
That man has paved the way for artists that we see today. And people, it actually baffled my mind because I actually saw a bunch of different comments on Facebook agreeing with 50 Cent on this. And
oh yeah,
the thing is, it's like, okay, people, can we please And we're only again talking about the art. We're not talking about anything else.
Mm.
So no matter what anyone's opinions are on either Chris Brown or Michael Jackson, that is not what we're talking about here. But when we're talking about the art and only the art, there would be no Chris Brown without Michael Jackson. Exactly. There just wouldn't be. And again, even when it comes to Michael Jackson, there would be no Michael Jackson if there was no James Brown. There's always someone ahead of that person who has paved the way for who they are. And again,
100% agree.
And if anyone is a fan of Michael Jackson knows he looked up to James Brown. So for anyone to say that, you know, Chris Brown is at the level of Michael Jackson, you're sadly fucking mistaken. I really, what? I don't quite understand that. Like,
I 100% agree with that. I don't think Chris Brown is this generation Michael Jackson. You remember the hotel when everybody was like outside in the hotel, I believe it's
when he
Paris.
Dangled his son over the balcony.
No.
What are we talking about?
Not that part.
Oh, okay.
When he went outside, basically, and then there was a crowd of people, and he was basically like waving, saying hi to everybody, and just, you know, I don't
Michael
think
Jackson we're talking about?
Yes, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't think Chris Brown would have the same reception.
No, not at all.
Today.
We have to remember, in looking at the fandom that Michael Jackson had all through his career, and it grew and it grew and it grew as the decades went on. This man caused people to pass out in his concerts.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that clip.
This is what he's been doing from the late 70s until, let's say, the early aughts, because he did slow down quite a bit after his 7th album, and that was maybe only 8 years before his passing. So he caused people to faint at the sight of him. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but Chris Brown is not doing that. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, not to bring in the issues he's caused for himself, but he has lost a lot of fans because of that. So for people to say he's at the level of Michael Jackson, I'm like, what are you talking about? Michael Jackson wasn't. He is a pioneer in his right. So I don't quite understand. What has Chris Brown really done?
Yeah,
I'm confused.
I often don't hear Chris Brown's music on
recent stuff,
pop,
no.
like pop radio.
No.
Like I don't hear on commercial radio at all.
No.
It's mostly
not
Michael
anymore.
Jackson.
Not exactly.
So usually you hear on, R&B and hip hop radios, but that's basically it, here and there, hit or miss, but otherwise than that. So according to Billboard, Chris Brown has 6 number 1 hits, and
Michael Jackson
has 13 number 1 hits. So take that information as you guys want.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'm sorry, but like Thriller, which for those who maybe don't know, his second solo album, is probably still one of the best selling solo albums ever.
Yeah.
So I don't get how anyone can think Chris Brown is at that level. I do wonder if 50 Cent is trying to, make Chris Brown look good by saying something like this. But I mean, if I think of any artist that's even comes close to Michael Jackson, I can't think of one. I really and truly can't think of one.
Right.
No. I don't.
I mean, you can. Prince, you would say Prince,
but I'm talking about someone who comes after that. Prince was around during Michael Jackson's time, and again, if anyone wants to come out here and say anyone compares to Prince, I'm be so mad.
Right. Would you say the closest? I wouldn't say he had the dancing talent. The Weeknd
to Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, yes. No.
I guess if you're only talking about the music only.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
But
All right.
again, we have to take into account that Michael Jackson is this performing artist that, you know, the weekend isn't, right?
Right.
So, uh, yeah, I would say maybe the closest, but
Yeah.
still not quite there.
Yeah.
And even with Prince, I would say the closest person we move to Prince in today's generation would be Bruno Mars. But even then, again, not that close.
Okay. So, Disney.
Disney.
Disney
Oh
is
God.
cracking down on password sharing.
Yeah, they are.
Disney's password sharing crackdown is about to begin just
Yep.
months after Netflix started to enforce new rules around the practice. The shock news arrived as part of Disney's Q3 2023 earning calls this week, which saw the firm announce measures to boost revenue and declining subscriptions. So,
Yeah. Um.
yeah.
mhm.
And also, quoted by Disney CEO Bob Iger, said password sharing among Disney Plus streaming service users is significant, adding that the company has technical capability to monitor people doing so. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
yeah, they're basically saying that they're going to be announcing what that's going to look like by the end of the year and to hopefully start cracking down by the start of 2024. So very similarly to what Netflix has done in terms of even the timeline.
yeah.
But yeah, okay. So here's my thing, because obviously I was one user affected by the Netflix situation in a big way.
Right.
Because Netflix is something that I shared with my boyfriend.
Right.
Right. So he's the only person outside of my home who had access to my Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had to take a big shift because what ended up happening is when the time came and he had actually logged into Netflix on his home before I could have, and by the time I was ready to log into my Netflix, it's like now recognize that I'm not the primary user. It
Right.
recognized him as a primary user. So I had
Right.
to go through all of these different things to fix that. And then not only that, I still wanted to allow him to have access to Netflix. So here was the thing. It's like, okay, do I, you know, have him pay for his own subscription on his own, which is going to be more
Right.
expensive than me adding him? And again, already paying almost $20 before adding him. And that's exactly what I
Yeah.
ended up doing. I'm like, it's going to be cheaper for me to add you on than for you to buy your own subscription. And
Yeah.
I'm now paying $30 a month because to allow him to do that, not to say that that's something I obviously would do for him, but like, that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing. Right now with
Mm-hmm.
Disney's one already the cheaper subscriptions that I have. It's not the cheapest, but it's one of the cheaper ones.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't use Disney. My
Right.
anyone who uses Disney is in my home.
Mm-hmm.
But what if he does, right? And he has access to it. Are you trying to tell me that I'm going to have to pay additional subscription for him to still have access to Disney just because you guys want to make a buck? And
Yep.
then the other thing here too that they mention is that Netflix was successful with their cracking down with the password sharing.
Right.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They were successful in the sense that, you know, the whole cracking down aspect of things
Mm-hmm.
was probably successful for them, but they lost subscriptions. People left Netflix and
Yep.
they lost money in the months
Yep.
following this.
Yep.
So how was that successful? I'm confused by
I don't
that.
know. I really don't know. I just think paying other uh that like sharing password sharing, I feel like it's good, but it's also losing money um for the company. So Netflix is losing money by password sharing, Disney's losing money by password sharing.
Mhm.
So I understand it, but how they're going about it, I think is wrong because
Yeah.
you're paying each person that's on your profile is paying
Yeah.
monthly.
You're still
Like
getting money, whether
yeah,
I'm sharing my password or not. You're
yeah.
still getting money. So what's
I
it to
just
you?
yeah, I just think they should, rearrange that. I don't know why they haven't thought about doing a family plan.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Um,
I don't know.
Kind of
That's in my
similarly
opinion.
to like what Spotify does.
Yeah.
Um, but again, here's another part of it that you didn't mention
Yeah.
that Disney is actually going to be raising their prices. They're now going to have what is considered an ad-free tier. So they're going to have a
Right.
tier that doesn't have ads. And basically what would happen is that I believe the ad-free tier
Mhm.
for Disney Plus is going to be raised from $10.99 to $13.99 a month.
Oh
And
wow.
Hulu, because they own Hulu, is going to be raised from $14.99 to $17.99 a month.
Oh wow.
And then
Interesting.
the ad tier is going to be $7.99 a month. Um,
Hmm.
so this is similarly to what Discovery Plus does. I have Discovery Plus, love it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: their ad-free tier is the
Yeah.
same price as Disney's ad tier. So that's the cheapest.
Wow.
That's the cheapest streaming service that I have, and
That's
you get
crazy.
so much for your buck. And
Yeah.
not to say that you don't get a lot for Disney as well. You do, because
Hmm.
it's not just Disney. There's so much that you get. But it's like, are you kidding? So now you're going to raise the prices
Yeah.
and then also lock down on the sharing.
Hmm.
I am
Uh,
for loss of
yeah.
words,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. Me too. It's crazy. I think they should find different alternatives in my opinion. I feel like it's way too expensive. Like 7.99 for
Mm-hmm.
each member on your own account. Like I told my brother, I warned him about that Netflix is making these changes
Mm-hmm.
in a family group. And I told him I'm not gonna do the 7.99, even though I love my brother.
Mm-hmm.
uh I I wasn't gonna do the 7.99. I don't have a Disney Plus account, but shout outs to Keith for hooking me up for his Disney Plus account. But
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine he's going to do the same thing too. He's going to kick me out.
Well, I
His
mean,
account.
for my
Go ahead.
situation, like I don't know, like your brother's situation, because I know he works,
Yeah,
right? And my boyfriend works as well, but
yeah.
financially speaking, it
It,
it's not as easy for him to have gotten his own account, which is why I said, okay, we're going to do it this way, but you're going to give me
right.
the money for it because it's going to be cheaper.
Mm,
Um, you know, let's say I haven't been getting the money
yeah.
for it, but that's a whole other situation.
So
But
does your family do the same thing too, or does
no, because my brother is
oh
on my
oh
account. I live with my
oh okay.
brother,
Right.
and I would never charge him for it because he is still in school. He's not working yet, so um, I wouldn't do that with him.
Mm,
But that's the
yeah.
thing. But if I'm not living at home and my brother still wants to have access to the Disney Plus account,
Yeah.
and this is
You
what's
can't
happening,
you can't
like
if Disney Plus is doing the same thing like Netflix, he can't have access to that account. He would most likely make his own account. So
maybe, but if
yeah,
depending on how they do things,
yeah,
like that's my brother. Like I'm gonna still, and he's
still yeah,
younger, much younger than me. So
yeah,
um, that's a different situation than how it is with you and your
yeah,
brother because he's only three
yeah,
years younger than you.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
you
just feel
know,
like it's I love my brother. Shout out to my brother Sheldon, but I feel
hi
like
Sheldon.
that's I feel like that is way too expensive. 7.99 for
Mhm.
each
And
member on
that's
your
without
account.
taxes. Because with
Come on.
taxes, it's $9.99 a month.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
Netflix, come on.
Yeah.
I seen what you said about the price hikes. So basically, what I just saw on Twitter, who's increasing their prices to
Yeah.
17.99,
Yeah. I mentioned that. Yeah.
and Disney is hiking up their prices to 13.99. So you can imagine that's in US dollars, right?
Probably.
That's
Yeah.
13.99 is basically give or take 15.99 in
But
Canada.
but then again, it might not be. It might be
Hmm.
just the same price all around because
Right.
with like Discovery Plus, for example, they started off in the US. Canada, UK, for example, did not have access to Discovery Plus in the
Right.
beginning. We do
Hmm.
now. And it
Interesting.
was the same price as it was in the US.
Right.
So, you never know, it could be the same price.
Okay. So that's enough today. Netflix do better.
Disney
Disney,
Plus, please don't do this.
yeah, don't do this, please. What's our next topic? So we're gonna
Next topic is friends and family pressuring to find love.
hmm. Let's
So,
let's spice it up a little bit. People who are in relationships
mhm.
pressuring people who are single who are not in relationships, basically.
So
So
are you saying that people who are in relationships are pressuring those who are not?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Go ahead.
From your perspective,
From
what
my
do you
well, like
think?
I like when every single time I go to like, a family friend's house, oh Mikel, why don't you have a girlfriend? This and that. Why are you not married? Hey, maybe I don't want to get married right now. but
Yeah.
like but like yeah, like it just for me it just takes time to find the right one.
Hmm.
And I found the right one. I had girlfriends in the past, basically. And
Well, I hope so.
yeah, and basically a lot of them don't work out because of uh personality and then situation issues. So basically yeah, but I just feel like society is stupid, and and they have this culture belief that you have to be in a relationship to be happy, which I disagree with that. You
Hmm.
can be happy and be single a lot of the time. So
I mean, I also think too, like I'm coming from a perspective, I am in a relationship,
yeah.
but I think it comes down to the point of what are your goals?
Hmm.
If you're not in as much of a rush to achieve certain things like having children,
Yeah.
then what is the rush? And I will say this. I think for women, it's we have more pressure than even men do
Yeah.
because we have the biological clock of, well,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
have kids by a certain age or you
Age,
won't be
yeah.
able to have kids. And God forbid, if you are actually trying to have kids and you have that pressure, it's like, okay, please don't.
Mm,
But it's like that's where it comes. I will say, luckily for me, and in my world of friends and family, I don't get pressured a lot,
yeah.
but I have in the past when I was single been pressured by a family member who's like, "Oh, you're 30 now." This was a few years ago. Like, you're 30 now. When are you gonna get
Yeah.
married? And
I mean, there's a lot of people, well, in different situations,
yeah.
that are like women who are getting pregnant in middle
Hmm.
of their 30s or the end of their 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
I understand the egg situation, but like I feel like a lot of people or a lot of women or men are in different situations and when it comes to that. So yeah, don't pressure people in general when it comes
Yeah.
to uh getting into relationships.
Yeah. And
That makes
even not even
sense.
just that, like if there is a woman or a man at a point in their life where you think, oh, they should be having kids,
Mm-hmm.
it's listen, we know what we're doing because I have gotten the pressure from my father about when am I going to get grandkids, even though
Mm-hmm.
he already has grandkids, but he
Yeah.
wants them from me. And it's like, listen, don't pressure. We're already under enough pressure.
Right.
And listen, when it happens, you'll know. Let's leave it
Mm-hmm.
at that. Don't pressure people to get pregnant or be
Be
in
in a
relationships
relationship. Yeah.
because it's a lot. And
Yeah.
in the time that we're in, and then also why I say this too with women, the time we're in, it's like, oh, women, you need to have a man in your life, blah, blah, blah.
Oh
No, I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
I'm, yes, I, like I said, I am in a relationship, but I'm independent. He's independent. I do my thing. He
Mm-hmm.
lets me do my thing. And, that's that. I lucked out with him. But, that's basically all there is to it with that. I would be perfectly fine, being on my own. If that's what it had to come to, I'd rather not. That's what, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Just don't pressure people because everyone
Yeah.
has their path that they have to
Yeah,
take.
their own different paths. Like there's a lot of people that just, that just want to travel the world. A lot of people who just feel freely and just want to be single for the rest of their life. A lot of people who just,
There's people who don't want kids, and that's okay.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
that's okay. That's 100% okay. So stop pressuring other people to get in relationships and, or, having kids.
exactly,
Let them do their own thing. So
exactly.
the next topic that we're going to talk about, guys, NSYNC is set to reunite with Justin Timberlake for a release of their first song.
Well, let's rephrase what you just said. NSYNC, period,
Yeah.
is reuniting. It's not just Justin Timberlake, because again, if you are an NSYNC fan,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know Justin Timberlake is not the only lead singer.
Right.
So it was JC. So yeah, they're reuniting. It sounds like they're going to be doing a song for the new Trolls movie, which is called Trolls Band Together, and that releases on November 17th of this year. So I'm surprised we haven't heard anything.
So they are bringing Sexy back, I believe.
What?
Oh, that's not.
That's
Oh, that's
not
Justin.
NSYNC. It's
That's
Justin
Justin
Timberlake.
Timberlake.
Oh my god.
Okay.
You need to brush up on your NSYNC.
Okay.
But
Bye.
clearly, yeah, bye, pop,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But like, okay, clearly, listen, I'm an NSYNC fan, guys, so I'm like so excited for this. If you remember back in the good old 90s where it's like either you have to like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, I was always team NSYNC. So
Right.
I'm super excited for this.
And I do think NSYNC they had more talent than the Backstreet Boys, in my opinion.
Ooh, you're gonna get some hate for that.
Really?
I think
Really?
so.
Because like who other than is it Nick from the Backstreet Boys that was successful? Who other than
Nick never really had a solo career. Really,
hmm.
no one from the Backstreet Boys had a solo career, which is why they're still together. Backstreet Boys are still together.
Oh yeah, they're still touring, right? They're still touring
Yeah,
along.
I think they're still coming out with new music as well. Even though I haven't heard anything new from them since like I'd say the early aughts. But yeah, no, they're still together. I think the differences between honestly, there really is no difference between the two bands because they each have the same sort of sound. And they also have the same manager. Like, we're dipping into a whole different topic here, but
I didn't know that.
Yes, there is a whole, there's I think a couple documentaries about the manager because he was a fraud. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, there's a whole story with that. So they have the same management. They have the same kind of sound to them, which is why this is why the robbery even happened between them, because of the fact they had a similar sound. So, and even why it still continues now. Like, if you see, there's that commercial now with the Backstreet Boys. I can't remember what it's for now. Where, the girl runs back in and she's like, oh, I got the stains out. It went bye, bye, bye. And they're like, that's not us. So there's still that rivalry kind of being played on, I guess. So they're very similar in my opinion.
Okay. So who's better in terms of like overall talent? And I'm going to take like one person from each group. Nick Carter or Justin Timberlake?
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about success,
talent and success, yeah,
it's going to have to be Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
It's going to have to be him because, again, he was the only person out of the group who came out with a successful solo career. He, had his music, he had his acting. He was more successful. If he took breaks, when he came back, he blew up. Like, that's like, so he was more successful even within the people in his group when it comes to the music. I mean, like Joey Fatone, he has his success in a whole different realm, but he has his success as well. It's just different,
I just never heard music from him.
Joey Fatone?
Yeah, Joey Fatone. I just never
because he didn't do the music.
Okay.
But if you knew the background of Joey Fatone, he was technically one of the first people in the group. And it kind of grew from him being in the group. So he has success. He can sing. For those who watched Masked Singer and saw him, he was in the first season of Masked Singer. The man can sing.
Oh.
But he was overclouded by Justin Timberlake and JC, who could sing as well. And they had a certain look Joey Fatone did not have. I think that's what it comes down to.
So, fun fact. Justin Timberlake has a song with 50 Cent. Remember, Ayo.
I know. Shut up.
Ayo.
I know this already. I used to literally dance to that song in my dance class in high school. I know.
There you go. And
I liked the song. Okay, shut your mouth. I know.
And then he has a song with Jay-Z, Sue and Ty.
I know this.
That one's all right. That song was all right. And then
I honestly can't remember Sue and Ty very much. Yeah. Honestly, I'll be totally honest.
Obviously, news of collaborations with Nelly Furtado, Timbaland, and
obviously, yeah,
awesome songs.
There's news that they're coming back out with the song together, all three of them.
Yeah. I heard about that.
That's a bigger deal for Nelly Furtado, though. Let's be real here. That's what people are focused on, not so much Justin Timberlake. I'm focused on Nelly Furtado because I'm like, yo, girl, it's been a minute. It's been 15 years since your last song.
So according to Entertainment Weekly, NSYNC clarified that there's no other new music coming out other than the one with Troll or any tour dates. So there's no information yet if they're fully coming back together full time to do other things. So
it looks like with them, they're the kind of group at this point in their life where they kind of do these surprises every 10 years, let's say. They haven't really come back together the way Backstreet Boys did, because at one point they did break up. The way New Kids on the Block, they've toured together actually. So, they're not coming back in that way. They came back when Justin Timberlake did his Super Bowl performance. I think it was Super Bowl. Was it Super Bowl? No, not Super Bowl. It was an award show. he performed and NSYNC performed with him. That was huge for those who don't remember that. It's freaking huge. Wow. That was the last time that happened. And here they are coming back again with this song. And it's going to be huge again. Even if it sucks, it's still going to be huge.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in the future, this becomes a new album. So you can, you know.
But why would it? But why would it? They don't need to.
You know? You don't need to drop a new album? Just one more last album for the fans?
Look how long it took Justin Timberlake to finally get music out after people were begging him for music.
True.
Took a long time.
Yeah.
NSYNC is technically not a group together anymore. They have broken up and been broken up for decades now. They don't have to. Even if this would be enough to keep the fans happy for a while, they don't have to. They really don't. You know how much work it takes to do an album? Justin's more focused on his acting career. This is why he wasn't doing the music. And, you know, Joey Fatone, he has his business. So, like, I don't really see him wanting to do it.
Right.
And, I mean, I don't know much about the other three, really, and what they're doing. But Jay-Z tried to do a solo career. It didn't work. That's all I know.
Okay. All right. So, millennials, when that song drops, just dye your hair blonde and, you know, vibe to it.
No, you need to have the blonde tips. That's
the blonde tips.
That's more 90s. Come on.
Yeah, 90s, yeah. And what's the backwards hat?
Remember people still do that.
Yeah, they still do that.
They still do that. Yeah. Gen Zs, let us have this. Please shut up. Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody. So this ends episode 2 of Next Take Podcast. Next Take Podcast is available now on all platforms. We also have a website called solo.to, Next Take Podcast. And for our contact, email us at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. Anything you want to say, Tanyka, to the people that's listening?
No, I think we've kind of said everything we had to say.
So, pretty good conversation this podcast. So I'm Mikel Miles and
Tanyka.
And we are out until next week.